Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my Week 15 NFL previews and analysis. This video is for the game between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. This game will take place in Indianapolis, who comes in with a record of 8-5. They've clinched the AFC South. They're headed back to the playoffs for the second straight year. Houston 2-11, losers of 11 in a row. Their coach Gary Kubiak getting fired last week after the Thursday night game against Jacksonville. Wade Phillips will be the interim coach. And, two of these teams obviously headed in different directions. You have Indianapolis, although at 8-5, they want to play better here heading towards the end of the season. They've hit a little bit of a rough patch, problems on the offensive line, problems on the defensive side of the ball, certainly last week when the Bengals just trampled all over them, both the passing and the running game. They got a little bit of better performance out of that offensive line from a pass blocking perspective last week. They've been needing to improve overall all season. It's been a really weak spot. Andrew Luck taking too many hits, them not being able to run the ball. If they can improve, that defense can get a little bit more physical, okay? And if they can get some consistency out of that offensive line and some semblance of a running game, maybe the Colts have a chance to win a playoff game. And I think that's where their mindset's going to be here heading down the stretch. Look, it's a pretty interesting scenario in this game because, Houston statistically is pretty good in a lot of categories for a 2-11 team, especially good in pass defense, okay, allowing only 185 yards passing per game. Their rush defense averaging, giving up a little bit over 4 yards a carry, which, look, the Colts don't run the ball on anyone, so we'll see how big of a deal that actually ends up being. We saw Case Keenum light up the Colts in their last matchup, a game the Colts came back and beat the Texans. So, I think this is going to be a competitive game, but you just have to think with the Colts that the Colts are going to be focused, and the Colts know they need to go in on a high note. I think in this game, you see the Colts come out very motivated, still against a division rival, two teams that don't care for each other. The Colts are playing, obviously, at home. I liked what I saw from Derrick Rodgers last week as a compliment to T.Y. Hilton and the tight ends and Levon Brazil as well stepping up last week. We'll see if that trend can continue because remember, the Colts did that last week against another very good secondary in Cincinnati. So they got another chance at another good secondary here at Houston. We'll see how they do. Can Ben Tate and company stabilize the Houston offense? Look, Case Keenum's sort of showing his true colors here in the last 2 or 3 games. This was an undrafted guy. He wasn't a guy. He's not by no means a franchise quarterback, and he's showing why right now. That's not a knock on Keenum. I think he could be a good backup in the NFL, a guy that comes in for a game or two and holds down the fort. The big difference between that and people having a book on you and you being a starter in the NFL. So we'll see how he plays out the season, but his play has been regressing, and I think that will continue in this game. And when you have Houston that's good in a lot of statistical categories, but the one thing they're not is they're minus 14 in turnover differential. This is a Colts defense that is average, but they play better at home. They're more opportunistic at home. I think with the Colts needing the game, I don't know what the motivation of the Texans is going to be. Wade Phillips turned an organizational decision to play Keenum. I don't know what, you never know what the inner workings of this locker room are. Do they play harder for Phillips? You just don't know. Too many question marks with the Texans, as you would expect from a 2-11 team, and you're not going to get a Colts team that's on cruise control. You're going to get one that knows they need to play better heading into the playoffs, and I like that aspect here, and especially how their offense played last week coming into this game. I like the Colts minus 5.5 at home in this one. Guys, let me know what you think. Hit me up in the YouTube comments. Hit me up on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I preview and recap every game every week, guys. Always talking about the NFL. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.